Shoshani. We're here live in TBN headquarters. Tonight we have a lot of news for you. Israel is safe, Israel as well, and the Iranians are on the verge of collapse. Iran is running out of drinking water. Iran is running out of electricity to provide for its citizens. Its economy is teetering and yet they continue to purchase weapons systems. Tonight we're about to break down live all the dramatic events that are taking place in Iran, a country that is giving the emotions, taking the emotions of an economy, a government, and a people that are on the brink of collapse and possibly revolution. I want to throw this at you just to give you an idea of what's happening in Iran and how dramatic events are. One, just to remind you that in the 12-day attack of Israel and the U.S. on Iran back in June, thousands of targets in Iran were targeted. Dozens of leaders in their government were eliminated, and all the large nuclear facilities were dismantled. And this is the trigger of everything that follows. Iran, according to certain reports, lost, and this is based on an INSS report that came out just yesterday, the two main pillars of the Iranian foreign policy, both push for a nuclear threshold ability and the axis of resistance, the proxy warfare, they both failed completely. That's based on also internal Iranian reports. Now, Tehran is under an incredible amount of pressure because of a looming deadline, both by US President Donald Trump and by the E3, which is France, Germany, and the UK, that all have a snapback mechanism that by the end of this month, and possibly the end of October, so the US it's August and the European countries in October, a mechanism of sanctions will be an immediate and automatic step on the Iranian economy. Another thing, yesterday, the IAEA, which is the International Agency of Atomic Energy, deputy lands in Tehran for a single-day visit to try and coordinate the supervision and the cooperation of the Iranians under the NPT, which is the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, or Anti-Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. And inside Iran, things couldn't be worse. The country is experiencing dramatic and historic levels of heat waves, temperatures in the 50s centigrade, which is 120, is that correct, Micah? 120 Fahrenheit, heavy humidity, record-breaking temperatures, and at the same time, they're having trouble supplying running water to their citizens, especially outside of the city centers. They're having trouble providing electricity throughout the day. Their currency is inflated in a radical amount, and then above all of that is the international pressure of an additional strike and an additional wave of sanctions. And with all of this taking place, with the internal pressures, all of that, the Iranian government do, they double down on buying weapon systems. Not only that, their threat today was to the international community. What we're about to do is we have a kill list of Israeli officials and others that we're going to come after. That is what the Iranian government is focusing on. They're buying weapon systems left and right, specifically Chinese weapon systems, and we'll get to that. And at the same time, they're making threats against the Israeli government. The Israeli government, Minister of Defense Katz responds, and he says, in a nutshell, he says, "We're not impressed. We're not scared at all." But we're coming to you live tonight from Jerusalem to really break down this dramatic chain of events happening in Iran. It's almost as if it's a biblical magnitude chain of events.
We had some
Record
sound issues.
Yeah.
Take the mic a bit up.
Yeah.
See if it can help up. We see everybody that we have a sound and stuff breaking down. Let's see if it's gonna.
Is this any better?
Yeah. Let's stop.
Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we're continuing. So again, Iran seems to have almost a biblical magnitude series of negative events. We have, think about this, a drought, record-breaking temperatures, a drinking water that's about to run out, electricity that comes only several hours a day for certain areas, a agrarian population, the people in the villages that are trying to come to the city centers to find water and electricity and food on a regular basis. Just a long series of very, very negative events taking place in Iran. And at the same time, instead of coming to an agreement, instead of giving up on the nuclear program, Iran doubles down on against Israel and a promise to never give up their nuclear program. What is going to happen next? Well, we're about to discuss that and try to figure that out. But again, just to set the backdrop to everything we're talking about, this is a dramatic time for the people of Iran, a dramatic time for the Iranian government. They've been hit harder than any government I can think about in a really long time, and yet they refuse to come to the table and negotiate in good favor. But if you're joining us now, and you're one of the, what?
700, 800.
Almost 1,000 people that are watching this podcast live. As we're going live here in the evening in Jerusalem. It's a hot, very, very hot evening in Jerusalem. But by the way, we're not short on water or electricity.
No,
Thank God for that.
And we're getting the same heat as the same heat wave that Iran got. And as you say, it feels being in the shower and just seeing it for an hour.
People in Iran don't have drinking water. My youngest last night enjoyed a long bath because thank God for people in Israel that have made sure we have a lot of fresh water, mostly desalinated water, by the way. So if you're joining us now, there's close to 1,000 people that are joining us now live. We're here in Jerusalem. I'm Matti Shoshani. I'm joined in our studio by a skeleton crew tonight. Tomel just had a son. Tov Tomel.
Thank you so much.
And Micah, who's here running essentially everything in the background. Yeah. And Gitai, who's downstairs, right? Is there anyone else?
No, that's it.
That's it. Just us. In this late evening here in Jerusalem. It's 8 p.m. as we go live here in Jerusalem. That's in Iran. Guys, if you're joining us now and you are one of two or half of our viewers that watch this channel and don't subscribe, well, if you like the content here, consider making a small contribution by liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. It really helps us get the truth out from Jerusalem to people around the world. It is incredibly important for us. This is how we get the message out. I want to do something more. There's a way to do even more than that. You can go to the super chat feature on the page, which is on the right-hand bottom corner of your screen. Oh, look at an amazing graphic. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, thanks, plants. Think pan. It should be thanks. Anyway, so it's coming across very washed out on my end. Anyway, there's a way to do a super chat, and it'll give you the option of making a small contribution or just liking or commenting. And by the way, throughout this broadcast, we're going to be taking your questions and trying to answer them. We're talking about Iran. We're talking about how dramatic things are in Iran. We're talking about how dramatic the pressure is internationally, both by the U.S., the E3, the IAEA, and Israel, of course, to stop them from once again promoting or pursuing their nuclear program. And we're talking about the fact that their economy is doing worse than ever before, their infrastructure is doing worse than ever before, and the civilian population is pushing back hard. How hard? Well, the Iranian government has arrested 21,000 people since the June war ended. That shows you that government is afraid. That shows you that government is firing in every possible barrel to try and stop the internal pressures in that government.
Matti, today when Israel Katz said to Khamenei that he need to look up to the sky and start to be afraid when he's getting out of his bunker, and to see them when people in Israel didn't have food, the government took care of that. And when people in Israel didn't had, I don't know, back in '91, even there was the Arab boycott.
I know, you're talking about the first Gulf War.
Yeah, we were missing stuff in Israel, and as a society, we were under pressure. But our government, our leaders, always took care of us. I think it's weird to see a country that not taking care of the people on one hand, on the other hand, just actively trying to kill us.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. I appreciate the question, Tomer. We're in this position right now where we're looking at an enemy, and in every logical mind, I think anywhere in the world, you look at what the Iranians are doing, and it doesn't make sense. They took a substantial blow back in mid-June. 12 days of nonstop attacks by the Israeli Air Force, followed by the American Air Force, and reportedly a lot of special forces and Mossad agents on the ground in Iran. We destroyed much of their nuclear infrastructure. We eliminated many of their leaders, both on the nuclear program and their civilian government, and the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and more, and religious clerics. And at the same time, there have been years of sanctions on Iran. And at the same time, the fact that they're a dictatorial regime bent on violence means their infrastructure is terrible. So they don't have enough fresh water in the country. They're a country that's unable to provide running water to its civilians every day of the week and every hour of the day, as the country should be able to. They have trouble with electricity. And again, this country has enormous amounts of natural oil or crude oil under its soil and off its coast, and yet they have trouble providing electricity to their population. It's off every possible angle, and to make things much worse, we're now having record temperatures, record heat waves in Iran that are causing, I mean, I can just only imagine the health effects of this on the elderly and older people that are suffering from conditions. Temperatures as high as 50 degrees Celsius, which is 120 Fahrenheit throughout Iran. And a warning that's coming out that says that Iran within 3 weeks might be in the dark. And that's not figuratively speaking, that's literally speaking, excuse me. That means that people in Iran could have trouble having running water and electricity in just a couple weeks. That shows you how weakened the country is. Now things get more complicated. Iran has been on the path of conflict with the rest of the world on the topic of the nuclear program, and this has been going on for a really long time. So just to remind everyone, the US is pressuring them to go back to a deal. Israel is threatening, even today, so that if you don't come back to an agreement, we're going to have a problem. The problem is going to look like our jets are going to come back and visit your airspace. Then on top of that, you have the E3, which is European countries, that are threatening to have an automatic snap mechanism in mid-October, a couple months away, which will again put a much greater amount, thank you for the correction, human. If this is human who I met, thank you, human. Republic and not just Iran. You're correct. The Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you for the correction. So there's an incredible amount of pressure internationally on the Islamic Republic of Iran, on the government, on the radical Muslim government of Iran. And Israel, according to the INS, is saying no deal is better than a bad deal. We want to continue the diplomatic pressure, the financial pressure, and everything we can do to make sure they don't go back to having a nuclear program. President Trump threatens, he says, if by the end of this month, which is August, the Iranians don't come into an agreement to give up their nuclear program, immediately, sanctions fully once more. So, not an easy situation to be in.
I think Trump said a couple of times, I tried to give them and they don't want to take it. They just want to buy the hand. I don't know how to say that, but every time that Iran is having any issue, they just threaten to attack. That's the goal right now. By the way, somebody asked about how many people got arrested in Iran. So 21,000.
Yeah, that was a number. By the way, the number is not an Israeli number. It's a number published by the Iranian police. So this number, if you're thinking about it, it's directed at the Iranian people, not at the international community. They want people within Iran to know how many people they arrested. And the reason they want that is they want their population to be afraid of the government. And the reason they want their population to be afraid of the government is because the government's actually afraid of the people. That's really what's happening on the ground in Iran. They're terrified what people are going to do, and they're doing everything in their power to try and subjugate, to try and scare into submission the population of Iran. I want to say something before we move on.
Just now.
Just this what, literally as we're speaking.
Speaking.
As we're live, so this is literally like 10 minutes ago, Prime Minister Netanyahu comes out with, to Israeli press, by the way, and he addresses the Iranian people and says, now is the time to take action and remove the Iranian Islamic regime.
Yeah, that's
He said, he addressed in English, sorry, the people of Iran and calls them to rise up against their government. He says, you are not worthy of leaders who flee during war and invest in terrorism instead of their people. That's, as we sit here right now, Prime Minister Netanyahu addressing the Iranian people. I want to remind you of something. During the 12-day war against Iran back in June, Prime Minister Netanyahu, again, speaking to an Iranian journalist, by the way, says to them something, people of Iran, you are not our enemy. Our enemy is the Islamic Republic of Iran, not the people of Iran. We have a biblical and historical alliance with the people of Iran. The people were against their government. I think that's the important thing to remember here. And that's the really important thing to hold on to, which is the fact that the Iranian people are not our enemy. The regime is our enemy, and we're working against them. I mimic Netanyahu's words. Now is the time for the people of Iran to step up against their government, against the evil regime, and really take action against them. They've been weakened, they've been exposed in their weakness, and now is the time to take action.
is connected to the whole thing, and it's about Hezbollah. Hezbollah in Lebanon right now, we see that the government want to take out the weapon from Hezbollah.
Yeah, disarm.
On the other hand, Iran is getting involved and trying to stop that. That's the last part. And in that moment right now, Israel is hooking out and putting more IF and preparing more to another attack from Hezbollah.
Yeah.
And we're afraid that Iran will try to change the narrative and make an attack that will actually affect.
Yeah. I mean, Iran has been very, very clear about the fact that they want to attack Israel again. They're not shy about saying that. They've said it many, many times. And it makes sense. And we were talking about this, I believe, on the podcast a couple days ago. What day is it today? Today's Tuesday. Like three or 4 days ago. We were talking about this, Yair and I, on the podcast, about the fact that the Iranian government doesn't act in a way that's logical to us. And I need to explain that. If I was leading a country and my people were missing food, and my people didn't have water, and my people didn't have electricity throughout the day, they were suffering record financial pressure, record diplomatic pressure. They had just been publicly humiliated by foreign armies flying through their skies for almost 2 weeks straight. What I would do is try to do the best thing for my people, not go and buy additional weapon systems. And that's exactly what the Iranians have been doing. They've been shopping for weapon systems from the Chinese specifically, instead of taking care of their own people. And that really shows you the nature of that government and the nature of that people. A government that is committed to destroying rather than building, that is committed to death versus life, that is committed to destruction versus anything else. And the Hezbollah, as you talk about, Tomer, is exactly that case. The Hezbollah are a huge investment decades building, all with the purpose of bringing it to Israel. And once Hezbollah collapsed, they don't care about the people of Lebanon. They don't care about the Hezbollah people themselves. All they want is to use them as their patsy in bringing destruction to Israel. And they're fighting hard to prevent, well, their proxy army from being hit. Okay, so what do we have, Toma? I think we have time for a couple questions.
Yeah, let's see what people brought up. Thank you, guys. Okay. So, people today not really on the... הם לא שמעו כלום עכשיו? Okay.
Wait, 20,000 people were arrested in what time frame? How long did it take them to arrest 20,000 people?
Since June.
Since June.
Since the end of June.
Wow.
But the 21,000 part is really, the 21,000 is an indication of what the government's actually feeling. I think that's the big issue here. is what is the government fearing? That's the issue.
So-
Tomo, people are saying Mazal Tov.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone saying Mazal Tov. Tomo, it's your first son child. Yeah, same way. 2 girls and 1 son. It's good for God preps us, those fathers that need girls before boys.
Yeah, I'm the one that need soft.
You need to soften the heart, then you can get a son.
Yeah, which is before the Brit Milah, and it's super stressing to be in this place.
Yes.
Making the actually Brit to your firstborn child. It's the first boy also to my grandpa, so it's super
Big news.
Yeah, Matti, I just thought about it that we see Iran spending and still spending and are on I don't know even how to say that, but they're running out to other countries to buy nuclear and other weapons right now. They're going to China, they're going to Russia, they're going all over like a crazy dude in the mall that's trying to get everything on a sale.
On a spending spree.
Yeah.
Like in Israel, New York, yeah.
And we actually see them without money. We see what's happening inside. They put much more money on through those years, besides to put the money on water and stuff like that. They put it in their proxy, what means that they gave it to other countries. We see them now in Africa, Iran putting a lot of effort to give arms to whoever take the, I don't know, way or go their way, like the Houthis. Money they can still buy from other.
Well, I think your point's very important. Iran is a country that is unable to provide fresh water to its people. Iran is a country that has people in 50 degrees Celsius weather, so 120 Fahrenheit weather, without electricity, so without air conditioning. Iran is a country, watching this at home. Iran is a country whose people are suffering the worst inflation in their history, whose currency is almost worthless at this point, who go to work and don't know if they can afford food the next day. Thank you, Tomo. We're still having audio issues.
It's coming and going. The heat affecting the internet.
Maybe. Anyway, so now I have 2 mics. I hope this is a little better. Iran is a country who's unable to provide the basic necessities to its people, unable, by the way, to defend its people against foreign attacks, and yet they continue to spend their money on weapons. They continue to spend their money on terrorism. By the way, things are so bad that their proxy, which is part of Iraq, you were just telling me about this earlier today, Tomel, their proxy, which is Iraq, is running out of electricity too. And it gets worse than that. It gets even more interesting. The people of Iran are in a position right now where, again, there's crazy unemployment. There's problems with running water, with electricity, and their government is on a shopping spree for anti-aircraft missiles. It's on a shopping spree for components for nuclear weapons, and it's on a shopping spree for anything that can stop Israeli future attacks on the country, ballistic missile parts, etc., etc., etc. And you look at that and you say, who are these evil leaders? What kind of government does this while their people are suffering so much? And the answer is the radical Islamic Republic government of the people of Iran. It's the mullahs, the religious leaders, the fanatics that lead that country that have dragged it away from prosperity, dragged it away from financial success, dragged it away from an elevated quality of life, all with the purpose of causing harm to Israel. Does it sound biblical? Yes. It seems like they're suffering from a biblical scale, I don't want to say punishment, but repercussion to their poor leadership right now? Absolutely. Trouble with water, record temperatures, inflation, devaluation of the currency. The list goes on and on. And above that, this hovering, sword of sanctions that are about to come on them from multiple directions. It's a very dramatic time to be in Iran right now. And before we move any further, right now is a good time actually to be engaged with Israel. Our partner today, we don't like saying the word sponsor, our partner today, because we work together with them. Guys, these are people I know personally from the leadership level and their families. I can vouch for these people personally. Wise Money Israel is our partner today. And if you're looking for an opportunity to invest in Israel, a country who somehow, I don't even know how to explain this, our economy keeps going up, our currency keeps getting stronger, Our companies, Israeli companies traded in the stock market, for the most part, keep going up. Again, this company can help you invest in Israel. They've been doing this for multiple decades. They've been helping people from around the world, over 30 countries, invest in Israel. And they do this in a professional sense, they do it with integrity, and they do it with a personalized service that you would expect from a US-based company. So our partner today, I'm proud to say, is Wise Money Israel. And their website, that will hopefully be on the screen, it is on the screen, is wisemoneyisrael.com/TBN. That is our partner today. Check them out. Looking for a way to safely invest. Looking for a way to safely invest in a business that will help you make money in Israel. Again, this is investment, so it could go either which way. But again, this is the way to do it. I go to wisemoneyisrael.com/TBN. It'll help you, it'll help Israel, and it'll help here at TBN Israel. Now back to our topic. I don't know why we have that graphic on the screen right now. We're good. Do we have audio? Guys, if you're in the comment section, I apologize for the technical difficulties. They're all my fault. But can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us, guys, because we've had a lot of trouble today. I'm looking at the comments. I'm having trouble understanding some of these comments. I like Israeli Dead Sea salts for bath, cosmetics, etc. Okay, I do too. Good comment. So we have time for a couple questions from the audience. Someone, did you see anything worth answering, or that we should delay on?
I did not saw something that we can delay it on, but I trying to understand now what will happen with the nuclear thing, because on one hand it looks like Iran is talking also to get back the IAEA,
International Agency of Atomic Energy.
Yeah. So they're trying to let them in back to show them they don't have after Israel and America.
Yeah, but they're not taking them to any of the facilities.
Yeah. So there is now a 6 months delay on how the whole thing will happen. From what we know, Iran is usually buying time in this thing.
Yeah, they've always done that. But they have a bigger problem now. They don't have 6 months.
The snapback?
Yeah, we have an automatic snapback. One, President Trump said that by the end of August, the sanctions are going to be imposed on Iran again. But secondly, the E3, which is France, Germany, and the UK, I believe, they promised that this is automatic. There's a snapback mechanism in the end of I forget what the exact date is, where an enormous amount of sanctions are imposed on Iran. And when that happens, they have a serious problem. They're already crippled, economically speaking. They're already suffering dramatically. It'll only get worse. And I need to remind people, I think this might be news to some people. Iran has been for 10 years. Iran has been under sanctions since I was born and a little before that. And according to my children, I'm quite old. So that's a long time. According to my children, I'm as old as time. Anyway, but to get back, so the Islamic Revolution takes place in Iran in the late 80s, and it's sort of this gradual process of imposing sanctions on them. Let's say early 80s and onwards, so 40 years plus, Iran hasn't been able to buy microchips, pieces for cars, pieces for their jet fighters. They have American fighters that date back to the 70s. That's a level of sanctions that have been on them. And it goes on and on and on. Parts for oil refineries, parts for name an industry, they've had trouble getting it. So it's a country that's rich in resources, that has a lot in the country, and yet they suffer dramatically from the sanctions, from the poor infrastructure that their poor government has created, from the economic pressure, from the inflation, and the list goes on and on and on and on of suffering in Iran. And the pressure is mounting on them. And if you think that their words are true and they say they're not afraid of the sanctions, they are terrified of the sanctions that are going to come on them. They definitely don't want them, and they're trying to buy all the time they can in the world to make sure that the sanctions don't hit them again. because when they do, look, they had triple-digit inflation last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the people. By the way,
going to delete some zeros soon.
And to a point, there is, and we've talked about this a lot in the last couple of years. There's a blessing that comes from virtuous leadership, and there's a curse that comes to a people from evil leadership. When I was born in Israel, people might not know this. In the year before I was born in 83. In 82 through 84, or let's say late 81, 82, 83, 84, Israel goes through crazy financial pressures, and we had triple-digit inflation in the country.
Yeah, we did.
We had inflation to the point where we were about to become a banana republic, not the clothing store, the South American failed government. We were about to become one of those. And we were saved by a bunch of very wise leaders. One of them, by the way, a man by the name of Stanley Fisher, who one day I'm going to make a documentary film about, who saved our economy not once, but twice. Once as a graduate of, I think it was like a 2-year or 3-year professional. No, that's the second time.
Yeah.
The first time he was sent from the Fed with a bailout program. Anyway, the point was Israel could have been Iran, but we had good leadership that saved our economy. Iran has evil leadership that tanks their economy, and that's what they're looking at right now. They're a country that has everything that it needs. And let's go to the map for a second. I want to talk about this.
It's a government that's sucking out the life from the country.
Literally. Literally.
Like a leash.
Yeah. Leech. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Leashes for the dog. Leeches sucks the blood from the dog. So look, I want to show you something on the map. Iran has everything it takes for a country to be successful. They have a sea over here, okay? They have a sea in the south that is connected to some of the busiest oil routes in the world, the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf, depends who you're asking. The people on the northern part of it will call it the Persian Gulf. The people over here, they'll say, no, that's definitely the Arabian Gulf. Anyway, they have a ton of oil in the country. They have a ton of oil in the sea by the country. They control the Hormuz Straits, which is these straits over here, which are some of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, and they control an incredible amount of power. They control the Bab el-Mandab Straits through their Houthi buddies over here, which is also incredibly important. That controls, of course, the Suez Canal, which is in itself a very dramatic thing. They are a country rich in natural resources, with a brilliant population. Don't get them wrong.
Just Tehran is the size of all of Israel.
Yes.
People need to understand that the size of the city Tehran.
What, proper is as big as the country? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So,
and to give you an idea, and just to say, this is what a corrupt leadership looks like. Instead of it being a superpower that's in the naval trade, instead of that, it's a country, where this tiny country, Israel, that's a speck on the map, was on missions over it for 12 days unopposed back in the month of June. And it's only because of that, because Israel has good leadership and they have evil leadership. Clip Gaza Strip right now.
This setup is going crazy. I need Sam with me.
Next time. So right now, Micah, put yourself on the camera for just a second.
I'm here.
Okay, Micah's having a baptism of fire today on the show.
You said it perfect.
Yeah. Sam isn't here. Wait, do you have a microphone?
No, I'm from the computer.
Okay.
That mic.
Anyway, we're experiencing some difficulties. Guys, if you wonder if this is a live broadcast,
Definitely.
The technical difficulties here today will show you that it is. Running a studio is complicated. And I tell you, our team here at the studio, what was your call time today? It was early in the morning.
I don't know. I worked until 1 last night. Got here at like 9 or something.
Anyway, our team has been working around the clock. So we just had multiple days of live broadcast in the studio beneath me, Studio A. So it's been a long day. All is forgiven. No hard feelings. Broadcast is technical and technical is complicated. So it's all good. So back to our headline today. Iran is, by the way, we're live here in Jerusalem, if you're wondering. And thank you to everyone who's been with us. If you're joining us so far, thank you. Alina Hawk, 475. We love you, TBN. We love you too. I'm Matti Shoshani. Tomel's here. Micah's here. Gitai is downstairs. I'm not sure what Gitai is doing right now. But thank you, Gitai. Huh?
Looking pretty.
No, I think he's taking care of something else. Anyway, we're here live telling you about everything that's been happening with Iran. And Iran is a country on the brink of collapse. They've arrested 21,000 of their civilians since the June war, the 12-day war. They have done an incredible, terrible job in rebuilding their country after the attack. They're suffering from electrical outages. They're suffering from a problem in supplying fresh water. They have a population that is angry, is frustrated, is rising up against the government. And all of this is happening because they insist on violence instead of peace. A government that refuses to give up their nuclear military program, and instead of taking care of the population, makes empty threats against the Israeli government, publishes a book with images of Israeli officials threatening to kill them. Again, no one here is impressed in Israel at all. Just
We
one
forgot
failed.
to talk about the most important part.
Which part?
That Israel and America fighting the clouds to have no rain in Iran. So
do we really need to talk about this, Tomo?
we need to close with that. That's the most important news.
So look,
This is the big scoop.
I'd say this. So on a personal note, I think one of the most impressive things in a leader or leadership of a country, definitely an organization, is to learn from your mistakes. And Iran has proven to us that they are simply unable to do so. They're suffering from record droughts, record high temperatures. And what are they doing in turn? Wait for it. They're blaming Israel. They're blaming Israel for the fact that they have a drought in their country. And again, this is beyond bizarre, but they're running a conspiracy theory now. I'll tell you what this reminds me of in a second, that Israel and the U.S. have conspired together to prevent from rain clouds from reaching Iran, so they're experiencing record drought. Time, was it the Egyptians that were killing the dolphins?
Yeah.
The Egyptians were killing dolphins in the
because they were
Mossad. It's very sad because dolphins are a lovely animal, but they were the dolphins were Mossad agents, so they were trying to catch all the dolphins off the coast. True story. It's like 10 years ago.
We trained them in Eilat. We trained the dolphins in Eilat to be a Mossad agent and to correct and get the information through sound of what they see. So each time Egyptian ship saw a dolphin, they killed that because they saw that they following them.
Where do we live?
We live in the crazy.
In the middle.
We live in the craziest neighborhood in the world. Anyway, to our point, as we start wrapping up this broadcast, we're telling you that things are happening in a rapid pace here in the Middle East. If you want to stay on top of them, make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe. And guys, if you want to invest in a country who isn't and who is doing well instead of failing, now is a good time to invest in Israel. Our partner today is wisemoneyisrael.com/TBN. Amazing people who do amazing work in helping you invest wisely in Israel, and hence the name wisemoneyisrael.com/TBN. There was a QR code on the screen just a second ago. If you don't know what to do with that, you open up your camera on your phone, you point it at the screen, and then you just you tap the link that comes up there, and it'll take you straight to that place. If you don't know how to type it in your browser. It's a good time to invest in Israel. It's always a good time to invest in Israel. Our economy, and I say this as someone who works and lives here, our economy is nothing short of a miracle and has been for decades in Israel. And according to God and the Bible, we're going to continue to be a miracle when it comes to financial terms. The story is still in progress. Now is a good time to invest. And wisemoneyisrael.com/Israel /TBN, is a good way to do that. And guys, if you're still here, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. If you've stayed with us this long in the broadcast, thank you from the bottom of our heart. It has been a choppy broadcast. We had audio, we didn't have audio. We had pixels, we had no pixels. Whatever, we're still here. We're going strong. Am Yisrael Chai, as we say here in Israel. And to all of you guys at home who've been commenting and liking and sharing, we deeply appreciate it. You think it doesn't matter. Every time you like a video, every time you share a video, it tells the internet algorithm gods that this is content worth promoting. And the way we grow, the way this content, this truth gets to more people is by you liking, by you sharing, and by you subscribing. Thank you, everyone at home. I'm Matti Shoshani, the illustrious Micah, and the handsome and rugged Gitai downstairs. Guys, be blessed from Jerusalem. We'll see you all next week here for the TBN Israel live broadcast.